I feel embarrassed, an absolute disgrace. I feel sick to be part of this.
Hey everyone, I think you know who we're going to be talking about today. That's right, Mikel Arteta and his famous rant in the post-match press conference. Arsenal lost to Newcastle 1-0. It was a massive win for Newcastle. Arsenal dropped 3 points in their title race. I know it's early, there's a long way to go in the season, but as Mikel Arteta mentioned, these are massive 3 points, and it's very difficult in the Premier League to stay in the race to compete with the likes of Man City, Liverpool, not so much right now, but Spurs. So it's normal for Mikel Arteta to feel robbed, maybe, that it's not fair, to feel the standards should be higher and it should be better. But I tell you what, this is not the first time these things have happened in football. Whether it's a refereeing mistake, whether you think it's a biased decision, whether you think it's an unfair call, these things have happened in the history of the game before. They're going to continue to happen in the future. And I think we can all agree that Mikel Arteta was a bit too emotional in this press conference. I love what he's doing with Arsenal right now. I love the way Arsenal is playing right now and how competitive they are. However, I think this shows that he's still a young manager and he was a little bit too hot after the match, which is normal. But at this level, you have to be able to control your emotions, stay calm, and not lose it. And it's fair to say that Mikel Arteta lost it in the press conference. What we're going to do is actually listen to the questions that are being asked to Mikel Arteta and see how he responds to them. So, yeah, let's get to it.
Yeah, we have to talk about the result because you have to talk about how the hell this goal stand up, and it's incredible. I feel embarrassed, but I have to be the one now coming here to try to defend the club and please ask for help because it's an absolute disgrace that this goal is allowed. It's an absolute disgrace.
Why do you think it's a disgrace?
Because it's not a goal. For many reasons, it's not a goal. For more than one reason at least, it's not a goal.
I think this is where Arteta needs to be a little bit more specific. He's showing that he is very frustrated. He's saying that it's a disgrace, and he obviously disagrees with the call. But he's not specific. He says, for many reasons, it's not a goal. What are the reasons? The reporters ask him, and he just doesn't specify what it means. And I think if you're going to come out strong like this in a press conference and to call it a disgrace, you have to be able to defend it by being a bit more specific and providing the reasoning behind your frustration. And Arteta is not doing this, which is really strange.
And it's too much at stake here. We put so much effort. It's so difficult to compete at this level. And it's an absolute disgrace. Again, I feel embarrassed. I've been more than 20 years in this country, and this is nowhere near the level to describe this as the best league in the world. I am sorry.
Playing devil's advocate, there were pre-checks and the information back from historically.
That makes it even worse. Even worse. It makes it even worse. You just need to see one image, c'est fini. And you have any doubt, you look at the second one.
Okay, so this is a little bit of a gray area because he's mentioning that you need to just see one image to see that it's not a goal. What image is he referring to? Is he talking about the image where the ball is not out or the ball is out? Is he talking about the moment where Arsenal maybe should have gotten a foul because the Newcastle player had their hands maybe on the Arsenal defender, Gabriel? So it's really unclear about what he's talking about. If he is talking about the image where the ball is out, supposedly, it's tricky because the law says that the whole ball has to pass the whole line. And from the image that's available to the referees in the VAR, that image is not good enough because it's not in line. The cameras are not in line and the image can't be used. So then it has to go to the referees on the field, and the referees on the field, the assistant referee and the referee, have made the decision that the ball's not out and the ball is in play still. So that image doesn't really help Mikel Arteta here. If he's talking about the image where he thinks there's a foul on Gabriel, on the defender, then once again, the referee made the decision in the game, live, that it wasn't a foul. So if it has to go to VAR, if VAR thinks that the referee needs to take a look at it again, they're not going to just look at an image, because we all know that what you see maybe in an image is different than what actually happened in the game in live play, or what the video might show. So if it goes to the VAR, the referee is going to potentially, yes, look at an image, but they're also going to replay the video of what happened. And this is a very subjective opinion here. It's very tricky because it's going to depend on the referee's opinion. Does the referee think that there's enough on Gabriel for it to be a foul. Clearly, he didn't, so he's probably going to say no again. The other argument you can say is, well, the Newcastle player has both arms on the player, but these type of things happen all the time in the middle of the pitch where you jump to get to a header and the player that's going for the ball climbs up the defender and uses that defender to be able to rise higher. And if that defender actually moves, then it's a foul for the attacker, for the player that's going for the header. So these things happen all the time in the middle of the game, and they're not always called because it's subjective again, and it's going to depend on the referee and what the referee thinks. Once again, it's really confusing what Arteta is referring to when he says you just need to look at an image. And when the journalists ask him, he's not clear about it. He's just frustrated. He's just repeating himself, saying it's a disgrace and he feels sick. I don't think this is helping his situation. And it sounds a little bit like he's whining because they lost the game like that and they dropped 3 points. So.
And if this is a goal, okay, that's fine.
They're saying they haven't got camera angles to prove one way or the other.
I don't care, honestly. I don't care.
So the journalist asks about the camera angle and he says he doesn't care. Well, you should care because that's what dictates whether they can use that image or not. And the camera angle they have for the ball in play is not the angle they can use because it's not in line, it's not perpendicular, it's at an angle. So these things matter and they make the difference on the call. And if he says I don't care, again, it just sounds like he's whining a little bit.
Sorry, did you think the ball was out for the goal? It was a foul, an offside? Or...
But this is really the question, guys. The question is, it's not a goal. It's simple. It's not a goal.
So once again, the journalist is asking, which situation are you talking about? Are you talking about the situation where the ball is or is not out? Are you talking about the foul? Are you talking about a potential offside or a handball? And he completely avoids the question and he says, is this really the question? It is the question, yes. And he follows it by saying, it's simple, it's not a goal. It's not simple, man. If it was simple, then this wouldn't have happened and it wouldn't happen game after game after game. So it's not simple. The referees have to go with their judgment. They have to go with what they have available to them. Obviously, yes, it's not perfect. VAR is not perfect. We all know that. Referees aren't perfect. We all know that. But neither are you. You're clearly whining right now and you need to cool off a little bit. The way he's handling the questions with the journalists, the way he is representing the players and the club because he's out there trying to defend them because he thinks it wasn't fair for them to lose the game like that, then he needs to be able to defend them properly, be more specific and back up his argument, which is not what he's doing. I don't think he has a case. I think he's just hot. He is frustrated. He's clearly pissed off and yeah, he's just on a rant. That's what it is.
Nothing. I have to stand here now and explain. And we lost 3 points today, guys. You know what that means? It's too hard, this league. It's too hard. It's too much at stake. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, so that basically sums up this whole interview. He knows that it's hard to stay in the race. He knows that these 3 points were massive and he just is upset that they lost the way they lost. Yes, the calls were great. It could have gone either way. It could have been a foul. It could have been maybe potentially a handball. It could have been a few different calls, but the referees at the end of the day decided that the goal is allowed because there's not enough evidence that the ball was out. There's not enough evidence that there was a foul. They couldn't decide the offside because the camera angles wouldn't allow them to. So if they don't have the information they think they need, then they can't make that call. So they have to go with the initial call that they made. Now, the other argument you can make is maybe in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, there's going to be a refereeing scandal like there is with Barcelona at the moment. You never know, right? It's not like Newcastle doesn't have money. I'm not trying to say anything. I'm not trying to make a political argument here, but these things have happened. So there's that. But going back to my initial point, I don't think Mikel Arteta is handling the situation well. I think he's just too hot and he's frustrated. And if he really believes that the goal shouldn't have stood and it should have been disallowed, then he needs to come, be more specific with his facts, with his reasoning, and defend his club and his players like that. Not come and say it's simple, it's not a goal, it's a disgrace, and just attack everybody. So, like we said, these things have happened before. They're probably going to happen again. No system is going to be perfect. No referee is going to be perfect. And it's just part of the game. It's what makes it beautiful. Obviously, when it affects your own team, you're a bit more frustrated. And when you're a neutral fan or a neutral player or manager, and it doesn't affect you directly, then you're more cool about it. But This is always going to be the case, and it just adds to the beauty of the game. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.